Git. It is a distributed version control system. Using the Git client, developer create his own version of the code in his local system. Developer can work on the code independently. Once all the changes are done, upload the code to Git repository using the Git operations. While uploading the code, many other things to consider. One of them, is there any conflicts in the code? This happens when the same file is being changed and pushed to Git repository while you are working on that. In this case, the latest changes to be merged before pushing it to Git repository. If the code not merged and the code is pushed, it throws merge conflict error. Here we have two Git clients to work on these operations. We can use Git bash, which is a command based tool, or Git GUI, which is a graphical user interface tool to manage the version control of the source code. Git bash. Here you can see the command prompt. It is a command line tool. It has all the required commands to operate on the source code. For example, these are the commands: clone, branch, log, switch, fetch, full, merge, etc. Git GUI. It provides the UI interface. All the operations what we can perform in the command, here also we can perform the same thing. If you see in the left hand side here, first we need to clone the existing repository or open the existing repository. Then when you open this, you can see this C D drive git test T6. This is a repository that when you click on this or clone the new repository, and this UI will get opened here. If you see right hand side, it has many options. If you see the menu, repository, edit, branch, commit, merge, remove, tools, help. The details you can see here. Repository, it has many options. The major one is Git bash. It will open the Git bash for the particular repository. Here nref is the repository. For that it will open the bash here. Then here in the branch, you can create the branch, check out the branch, rename, delete or reset the changes here. And the commit, here you can, when you are committing, scanning the repo, local repo, then stage to commit, then stage changed files to commit, any revert changes, unstage prompt commit. These are the options we'll see. Sign off and commit. These are the options in the commit menu. Then the merge, here we have two options here, local merge and the abort merge. In the remote, add, push and delete merge. Options like initial commit message, rescan, it's in the UI. You can see this UI, rescan, stage changed, all are available in commit menu also. You can use any of these. We will see these options in detail in the coming sections. GitHub. It is a cloud-based service. It can be accessed using github.com in a browser. It helps to manage the Git repositories. The software project can maintain the code base here and operate on the code. It supports operations like updating the code or downloading the code, etc. Suppose the developer wants to change the code for new requirement. He gets the code from repo to his local branch. He changes the code and it is available in his local system. When he completes the changes, it is updated to his local branch. Now, how to upload the code to GitHub, which is having corresponding remote branch? Git client provides different commands to work on these kind of operations. You can also use UI version of Git to operate on the code. We will go through Git command line and Git GUI in the coming sections. Now we will see how to create a repository in GitHub. Log into github.com. If you are not having an account, please create the account. Click on new. Here you will get an option to create a new repository here. A repository contains all project files including the revision history. Already have a project repository elsewhere, import a repository. Here if we click on this, if you have an existing repository, we can import that. Now we are creating a new repository. Here we are choosing no template. Here owner, logged in user, then the repository name. Here they are giving some suggestions here, creating repository name. Great repository names are short and memorable. Here for example, silver-octo palm tree. we can name the required name here, whatever based on your project or the functionality name you can give it here. And you can make this repository as public or private. Public means anyone on the internet can see this repository. Private, you choose who can see and commit to his repository. Now I'll open the github.com. Log into github.com. Sign in. Now you can see create your first project, create repositories here. Currently there are no repositories in this account. Let's create that here. You can see the logged in user here. Sign in is a NKP Tech. Here you can see the profiles, your repositories, projects, other details. You can see it here. Now I'll create a repository. Click on create repository. Now we will name this repository as git-repo-1. This is the Git repository I'm creating now. Okay, this is the name of the repository. This owner is NKP Tech / git-repo-1 here. Now I made this as a public here. Initialize this repository with, I'll keep as it is, will not change anything. In add git ignore, this also I'll not change anything here. Now I'll create the repository here. Now this repository got created. Now you can see this is the repository name here. This is the one, https github.com /nkptech / this is the name what we given .git. This is the repository created now. Now you need to initialize this repository. Number of options listed here. You can see the first one is get started by creating a new file here, or uploading an existing file, or using command create a new repository on the command line. You can use these commands here, git initialize, then add the file, commit with the proper message, then branch and add it to the remote branch here. Then again push an existing repository from the command line here. Another option is import the code from another repository. First I'll choose this option, creating a new file here. Click here, creating a new file, and I'll name this file here first file.txt here. Here I'll type some data here, testing 1 2 3 testing here. Now here I'll commit new file here. You can message here, create a first file. This is the message you can first commit. Here you can add some description. First file added. Now commit new file. Now saving. Now file is committed to this repo. Now this file is available in this repo now. Now you can see this file got committed, and the branch is main branch. This is the default branch here. This is the default branch main. If you want other branch, you can create the branches. If you see view all branches, you can see the available branches for this repository. Currently it's only main. If you want more branches, you can create here. We will see how to create branches and operate on the branches in the coming sections. Git setup. Download the package from Git website. Once it's downloaded, click on the installation package and follow the instructions. Choose the appropriate options for your project. Once it's installed, configure the Git. You need to set the username and email address for the repository. This can be done using Git GUI or the Git bash. First we will install the Git. Now I'll open the Git website, search for Git, downloads. Here you can see download for Windows. Version is 2.39. Here we have two options. One is 32-bit and the 64-bit. Based on your system configuration, you can choose these options. I'll choose 64-bit Git for Windows setup. Click here. It will download the package. Now I'll open the folder containing this download. Click on this package. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes. Next. Setup will install Git into the following folder: program files, Git. You can change this if you want this path. Click next. Here select the components. I'll choose Git bash for the command based operations and Git GUI for the UI based operations. Next. Here you can choose the editor, whatever editor you want to have. I'll choose Notepad++. Adjusting the name of the initial branch in new repositories. What would you like Git to name the initial branch after git init? Once the repository is initialized, it creates a default branch. Here we have two options for that. Let Git decide. If you choose this option, it creates the master branch as the default. Once the repository is initialized, it creates a branch named master. This can be changed here. If you choose the second option, override the default branch name for new repositories. See here, many teams already renamed the default branches. Common choices are main, trunk, development. Specifies the name git init should use for the initial branch. If you choose this option and select main, then when you initialize the repository, the main branch is get created here. If you choose trunk here, when you initialize the repository, trunk branch is got created. Unlike here if you choose this option, master branch get created here. Once it choose this, now I'll select this option as it is. Go to next. Next is here Git from the command line and also from the third-party software. Here adjusting path environment here. How would you like use Git from the command line here? If you see here, this option adds only some minimal Git wrappers to your path to avoid cluttering your environment with optional Windows tools. You will be able to Git from Git bash, the command prompt and the Windows PowerShell as well as any third-party software looking for Git in path. So here once you install, we get a Git bash here. Also these commands, whatever the Git commands, we can run using CMD, Windows command prompt and also PowerShell. If you open CMD here, if you enter any command like git branch, it will be recognized here when you choose this option. Currently we haven't installed the Git, that's why showing even in the PowerShell. If you open the Windows PowerShell, here also if you enter Git commands, it will be available. Now Git is not installed, it's not opening. Let's go to next option. Here use bundled OpenSSH. I'll keep this as it is. Next. Here use the OpenSSL library for HTTPS transpose. Click next. Here configuring the line ending conversions. How should Git treat the line endings in the text files? Here there are three options. First is checkout Windows style, commit Unix style line endings. Git will convert LF line feed to CRLF carriage return line feed when checking out files. When you check out, download the file. Checkout means downloading from the server. It will convert LF to CRLF. When committing text files, CRLF will be converted to LF again. This is useful for cross-platform projects like Unix, Windows. Your server is in Unix and client is in Windows. So this is recommended for Windows here. When you are using Windows, you installed Git in Windows, then you choose this option here. Next option is checkout as is. Checkout, there is no conversion. Commit Unix style. When you are committing Unix style, Git will not perform any conversion when checking out, means downloading the file from the server. When committing, when you are uploading the file to the server, then CRF will be converted to LF here. Okay, this is useful when you are working in a client, in a Unix environment here. When you install this Git in Unix environment, you should choose this option. And the third option is checkout as is. Commit as is. Git will not perform any conversions when checking out or committing text files here. Choosing this option is not recommended for cross-platform projects here. If you are working in the same platform, then this option is fine because there is no conversion here. Because line endings are represented CRLF in Windows and LF in Unix. So that will mismatch. If you choose this and you are working in the cross-platform project, it will give error. When you are checking out, you are getting some LF, then when you are checking in or uploading, then it will go as a CRLF. And somebody who is downloading from this server, he'll get a CRLF in the Unix machine. That will give error in his system. So choose appropriately the options here. We will choose this option. First option, we are using the Windows system here. So here checkout Windows style and commits Unix style line endings. So if you see, I can show you in Windows what is CRLF here. So I'll open the notepad ++. Here I'll enter some testing 1 2 3 here, and I'll enter, see here CRLF came here. This is the new line here. Okay, CRLF. This is called CRLF in Windows. Okay, here testing 2 like this CRLF, or enter next line. What are the new line? It's called carriage return. So if you are working in Windows, this will be appended at the end of the line, but the same file, if you check into the Unix style, it will throw error. So in that case, what is the option here? Convert here. CRLF will be converted to LF before checking this. If you choose this option, when you are checking in, this CRLF will be converted to LF, that is Unix style, before checking into the server. So this will solve the problem, any cross-platform issues here. So this is about configuring the line ending conversion here. Go to next here. Here configuring the terminal emulator to use with Git Bash. So here I'll choose the default one, use min tty, the default terminal for my sys2. Git Bash will use min tty as terminal emulator, which supports a resizable window. This is a property, non-rectangular selections, and a Unicode font. Windows console programs such as interactive Python must be launched via. These are the other options we have here. Mainly resizable window, non-rectangular selections we can have in this terminal emulator. Go to next. Here choose the default behavior of git pull here. What should git pull do by default? Git pull is one of the major terminologies in Git, where we are downloading the files from the server and we are merging with the local branch here. So we will see that in detail in the coming sections. Here there are three options they given. What is the default behavior of the git pull here? One is the default, that is fast forward or merge. This is the standard behavior of git pull. Fast forward the current branch to the fetched branch when possible. Otherwise create a merge commit. Okay, this is the one option, default they said. And the second option is rebase. Rebase the current branch onto the fetched branch. If there are no local commits to rebase, this is equivalent to a fast forward. The third option is only ever fast forward. Fast forward to the fetched branch, fail if that is not possible. All these options we will go through in the coming sections. Now currently I'll choose this default option, fast forward or merge here. When git pull happens, this is the default behavior. Choose next. Then git credential manager, I keep this one as default. Next. Enable file system caching. It will increase the performance. Next. here these are the new options. I'll leave as it is and click install. Now it is installed, completing the Git setup wizard. So I'll open launch git bash, finish. Now this git bash is open. This is the command based tool. The other one is a UI based, that I'll open here, git. So it's installed git GUI. You can see now git GUI open. Here we can have many options: create new repository, clone existing repository, open existing repository. We'll see this in detail. And one more thing we'll check using the command here. I'll open the new command prompt to check it is available. This command, whatever we are doing here, it's available in the CMD and the PowerShell. Git branch. There is no branch here, so it's showing this error. Now I'll open the CMD and I'll click git branch. Now you can see same error you can see. Now this is enabled for CMD also. Also we can check for PowerShell. Git branch. Now you can see this is the same error. So this way you can use PowerShell or CMD to work on the command based operations here. And this one we will see in detail, both git bash and the git GUI tools. You can use this and this interchangeably. Anyone, whichever is comfortable, we can use this. Okay. Next we will see how we can configure our Git repository. Before using Git, we need to configure that. That is, you have to set the username and the email address for your repository. There are two types. We'll see that in the coming section. Let's set username and email address using Git GUI. Here you can see the Git GUI screen. On the left hand side it shows the local repository configuration, and the right hand side shows the global configuration. It applies to all the repositories here. Now we will see how to set this in GUI. Now I'll open the Git GUI. Here I'll clone the repository, clone existing repository. Here source location, I'll choose the GitHub one we created earlier. I'll open the GitHub. This is the repository. Click on this git -repo-1. Then here clone this, copy, then paste here. Source location we are getting it from the GitHub, and target will give the local directory, your system local directory. Browse, or I'll use this path, git projects path here, and here I'll create one more folder, GUI. It is for using GUI. Then clone whatever the data is available at this repo, it will download it to this location, local location. Clone this location, GUI already exists. Now I'll use this one, git, I'll give the same name, git repo1 here. Clone, it's cloning now from this remote. You can see from main branch. You can see now this is downloaded. If you see the location now, git repo got created, and under this is the details here. See, first file here, and it's a git object. All the details about the git repository is stored here. Open this. These are the structure. We'll see this later. So this is the first file what we created in the GitHub, that is downloaded here. There is only one file here that is got downloaded. Now I'll open this edit and options. You can see here local repository showing username Prashant and email address, this one, and global repositories, it is showing the same thing. You can change this if you want, and here also you can change. Here it is particular to this git repo -1 for this repository, is for everything, it applies to all the repositories here. Now we will see how to do it using the command line. I'll open the git bash here git bash, it's open, it's pointing to this repository now. Now if I check git config user dot name, it's showing Prashant. Here git config user dot email, it's showing the email address here, it's for the local repository. If you want to check the global, you'll open this one git bash here, and it applies to global. You can see here the global, it's not pointing to any repo here. Git config -- global, then user dot name. Same way, email config -- global, then user dot email here. It is already set in Git GUI, so it's showing all the details here. Suppose I'll remove the details here. Save. Now check again, there is no value here. Now we'll check the commands here. You can see there are no values showing here. Same for the user, there is no value. For a particular repo also there are no value here, and for the user no value. Now how to set using commands here? So we'll set that using command git config, okay, git, we can use this window or this window global. See here git config, here user dot name, okay, then I'll name it as Prashant here, enter. Not in a git directory here, this local should be in a local directory, we are not setting global here. So go to this window where it's pointing to the git local repository, we are setting for this particular, we are not setting global. So go here and check git config user dot name, then the user here. Now this user is set for this particular repo, and git config user dot name, here I'll give kp@gmail.com, this email I'll give here gmail.com. This particularly set for this local repo. Now I'll set the global repo here, git config. For that global you have to use this parameter -- global, then the user dot name, here Prashant, it is set. Now we'll set the -- global user dot email, here I'll set in kptech@gmail.com, here enter. Now it's set, both the things are set. Now we will refresh this and get the value or not. We'll check here. You can see this value is set as email address also taken this way. You need to check that. Here username Prashant and email address added like this way. And local repo, if you check the local repo, here username we added as, okay, we made a mistake here. One username already we added Prashant, but when you add username it's overridden this property. So now this is added to this one here. Now let's, whatever global is there, it's inherited here and came to this place also. Now we need to change this. So username, I'll add it again, get config user dot name then git config user dot email kp at gmail.com. Now check the values again. Now the user is Prashant and the nkp at gmail email. Here global is like, if you not add any values to the local repository here, username password, it will inherit the values from the global repositories. If we mention these values, it will override the properties from the global repository. Let me also show you how to clone using the command line. So I'll close this. Initially we used git GUI to clone this. Now I'll use commands. I'll use this git bash to clone the repository. Here I'll go to particular path and I'll repo, copy that repo here, and I'll use one more folder here, create a new folder. Here I'll make it command line. Through command line I'm cloning it now. So this is one GUI, I cloned it, this repo. Now I'll clone it using the command line. I'll take this path and go to this window, cd, and this path. Now it's in this path now, command line. It's not identifying the path. 1 minute. Here cd, it is not identifying that path. Now let's add the slash. I'll copy it again, cd, paste, then I'll add the slash here, slash and slash, enter. Now it's in this directory now, current directory. pwd showing this is the correct directory we are in now. Now I'll clone at this directory, git clone, then I'll copy the git repo here. I'll go to GitHub, then I'll copy this repo here, copy, then go here and paste it here, enter. Now it's cloning into git repo 1. It's already downloaded. Now if you see this folder, you can see the repo folder in the command line. So first file, same thing is downloaded as the GUI. You can use git GUI or git bash, whichever is convenient for you.